In the summer before grade 9, my parents packed me up and shipped me off to summer camp. All girls. That year was formative for me because that was the year I realized I couldn't make everybody like me. That year was the start of that. That summer was the birth and death of coleslaw. It began on a canoe trip. I knew things weren't going the way I had hoped when I was sitting in the back of the van on the way to the lake and I tried practicing my beatboxing. But the girls weren't having it. "No, no, 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 no," exclaimed a girl named Haley. "That's not how you do it." I wasn't aware there was one correct form of beatboxing. But there was a lot I didn't know, like how Haley was a notorious nickname giver. "Just you watch," she said. "I give everyone nicknames." I was the only one that got a nickname. "Yo, Emily, what's your last name?" I told her it was Kelsall. "Kelsall, ha!" Sort of sounds like coleslaw. Thus my torture was born. I told her I hate coleslaw. I didn't hate the food so much as I hated the word, the way it sounded, the way it rolled off her tongue. As if my nickname was literal coleslaw from a buffet that people kept coming back for more and more. Not just Haley either, all the other girls picked up on it as well. "Coleslaw, come sit up the tent. Coleslaw, come get the water. Coleslaw, come clean up the food. Come on, coleslaw." They weren't mean all the time. Through the portaging trails, there were occasional pit stops of benevolence, but I found myself increasingly fighting a war against girls who were determined to sap any dignity they could out of my unfortunate circumstance. Ostracization by side dish. The tent was a 5-person tent, but we ended up fitting all 8 of us into it. Using the scrupulous powers of spatial planning, Haley was able to determine to best utilize the space. 7 of us would be able to lie vertically next to each other like sardines preserved in click sauce, and the 8th would have to lie like a peasant at their feet. Coleslaw was always at the feet. I tried suggesting someone else lie at that lowly position, but I never received my request. So I would lie at night, with a grudge at my nickname and gratitude at the benevolent pit stop of our nightly ritual, reading from a young adult novel. Though the leaders never uttered my cabbage and shredded calling, the leaders who accompanied us on the trip, they did little to uproot the teenage torment turnip. And so, days of being called coleslaw later, it was the last night of the trip. We were unpacking when my attention was brought down to the water. "Look, boys!" That was the truth of it. Across the waters of destiny, a boys' camp was canoeing their way down to the lake, wafting of titillating teenage testosterone, pheromonal potential, and SPF 50. There was a campsite directly across from us. "I hope they camp over there," cried a girl named Alice. And they did. Alice, along with Haley, were one of the top chefs in the trip kitchen, and when they weren't dishing out coleslaw on that day of fate, they were talking about boys. "If a boy came over here," pondered Alice, "I'd go make out with him in the bushes." Everyone looked at Alice in awe, shock, and disbelief, and if they were like me, quietly judging her. The boys did come over eventually, but not in the seducing manner Alice might have hoped for. They arrived in a canoe, 3 of them, sunken down as if in a bathtub of hormones. We gathered around the beach like a choir and awaited their impressive words of penetrating seduction. The one in the bucket hat spoke first. "What's your name, girls?" "That's coleslaw!" the girls cried, as if they'd been waiting to announce my name all along. "Yeah, I'm coleslaw," I submitted. But the boys didn't join in on the taunting, but instead accepted it as a cool fact, like boys give each other nicknames all the time without it meaning to be unusually cruel or something like that. Later that evening, a squadron of boys began to make their way across the lake like Jaws. "Maybe someone should go out and join them," pondered Haley. "Oh, I'll do it," I said. "Whatever," said Alice. By me swimming out to meet the boys, the idea had immediately become as cool as a father-daughter dance. But I waded out to the waters and mingled with my new friends. And eventually, when the urge to make out in bushes had conquered pride and the girls finally managed to swim out and join me, the boys had turned and already paddled back to their campsite. But whatever brief impression I made must have been strong and positive. Because for the late hours of the night, our entire campsite could hear the voices of the boys calling, "Coleslaw! coleslaw, coleslaw, come hang out with us, coleslaw, come have dinner with us, come over, coleslaw. Alice and Haley were not impressed. Nor were the others, who couldn't even make it through a young adult novel without being interrupted by a nickname longingly being chanted across the lagoon. Within a period of hours, the taunt that had continued for days had been reversed. The name, the dish, the girl had been liberated. I'd had my fill of bitterness because suddenly coleslaw tasted so sweet. The next morning, we woke up early and began to canoe back to where a van awaited us to take us back to camp. I hadn't seen my reflection in a week, but the first thing I thought when I saw it was, damn, I look good.